Hi there, and welcome back to Blue Ocean English and the next video in a series, Introduction to Exam Preparation. In this video I will give you 12 excellent exam tips to help you get a fantastic score in whatever exam you're taking. Are you ready? Let's go! So, tip number 1 is about grammar. And before we begin, let me just explain what I mean when I say advanced grammar, or I call it nice grammar. So I made a video about this. The second video in this series talks about advanced grammar, but just quickly here some examples of advanced grammar. So we're talking about things like conditionals, passive, past modals, past perfect, future perfect. And in all of the exams, this is one of the main ways that you can get points and get a fantastic score using advanced grammar. So it's very important to learn to use nice grammar. You can find lots of great videos on my channel for grammar. There's a Grammar on the Moon series. Here I explain all the tenses, and there's lots of grammar for you to improve your speaking and writing skills with. It's really important that you learn mixed tenses together so that you're able to change between different tenses, use some higher level tenses, and remember there's a difference between being able to read or listen to the tenses or the grammar and being able to speak or write them correctly. So you need to practice using the grammar, not just reading it or listening to it. The second excellent exam tip I have for you is about vocabulary. So remember, it's really important that you show them all the nice words and the nice phrases that you've learned to describe the things in your world. Practice using nice adjectives, synonyms, phrasal verbs, idioms, collocations. One simple way you can improve your vocabulary is by finding a word list of B2 level verbs or B2 level adjectives, or higher obviously, and finding ways to use these higher level words when you're talking about things in your world. Change your vocabulary from a beginner's vocabulary to a higher level vocabulary so that you're able to use all these nice words and phrases when you're in the exam. The next great piece of advice I have for you is about planning time. So most people, when they get time in the actual exam to prepare and plan, maybe in the speaking exam you get 1 minute to prepare your answer, or in the writing exam you have more time. But what most people do is they spend all their time thinking about the idea, the actual facts of things, what they're going to say, what they're going to describe, things that they remember about their life that are true, the details, where it happened, when it happened. This is not a useful thing for you to prepare. Remember, I keep saying it, the ideas that you talk about do not matter. You can talk about completely crazy things. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are you using nice English to describe these things? So when you're planning, all of your preparation time really should go on finding ways to show them how good you are at English, using all the nice things that you've learned. What I suggest you do with your preparation time is think, how do I use the passive here? How do I use some fantastic adjectives in this answer? How can I use a modal verb in the past? How can I use an idiom to describe this thing? Tip number 4 is about synonyms. So I often tell people, if you want one word to describe how to pass the exam with a good score, the word is synonyms. Synonyms are two different words that mean basically the same thing, and the exam uses synonyms in every part of the exam. In the listening exam, the question will have one word and the answer will use a different word that means the same thing, and you have to find the connection between the two. In the speaking exam, finding different ways to say the same thing can be a very good way to get points. So learning to use synonyms is a very good idea. It can be a very effective thing. The next tip I have for you is about instinct. So instinct is the feeling you have for something. So I always say to students, don't forget that you've studied English for a long time. Maybe for some of you 5, 10, 15 years you've been studying English. That's a lot of time learning English and building up a feeling for English. In the exam, many times I see students, they choose an answer for a question and then they change their answer because they've thought of a different answer and they think the second one is correct. And very often their first answer is actually correct, and what they're doing is they're changing it and they're getting the question wrong. So think very carefully when you're going to change an answer. If you have a feeling for an answer, trust that feeling. Very often your feeling that you've built up over many years of learning English can be a very important thing in exams. So if you write an answer quickly just because you feel that's the right one, it can be very good to not change that answer, because very often that feeling is correct. So really the tip here is, don't forget you've been learning English for a long time. There are many things you know, so your feeling can be correct. Tip number 6, don't get stuck. I've said it a lot in these videos, but I'll say it again. Don't get stuck. Getting stuck is when you stop in the exam. It's particularly bad in the speaking exam because you have such a short period of time to talk. But sometimes I see students, their brain just stops and for 10, 15 seconds they don't say anything. When you only have 1 minute to speak, that's a big problem. Try not to get stuck on words or ideas or the truth or your memory or what's real. Be flexible. Use your imagination. If you stop because you can't think of what to say, change what you're going to say. Move on. Continue with a different subject or a different conversation. Continue your ideas and keep speaking. Keep moving forward. Tip number 7 is the truth can hurt you. Because very often I see people thinking very carefully about what's real, about what happened in their life, what the truth was. None of this matters. The examiner doesn't know the truth about your life, and they don't care about the truth in your life. So use your imagination. If it means you can use better English, for example, if you have a hobby and you want to talk about this hobby in the exam, but you don't know many nice words or nice phrases to describe your hobby, then it's probably not a good choice. What's much better is use your imagination to talk about a hobby where you do know how to describe it in nice ways, where you do know some nice vocabulary to use about a particular hobby. It's much better to use your imagination if it means you're using better English. Tip number 8, probably the most important one. Answer the question. Answer all of the question. You need to answer the question. If it asks you for details that you need to provide and you don't put these in your answer, you will lose points. So for example, if you're asked to describe your favorite film and you talk about your favorite football team, you're not going to get lots of points. The examiner will think you didn't understand the question, even if you use fantastic English. If you're not answering the question, you will not get a good score. Tip number 9 is about exam stress. If you panic or forget. So very often people can get very stressed about these exams. In the speaking exam, they can get very stressed and they just can't think very well, and they can't think of things to say, or they forget what they're going to say. If you have a problem in the exam, try to stay calm, breathe deeply, and don't forget the examiner is there to help you. They want you to get a good score. They are trying to help you to get a good score. So they will be very helpful. They will try to describe as much as they can to help you to answer the question. Don't feel bad about asking them to repeat the question or to explain the question. It's very important that you understand what they're asking you to do so that you can answer correctly. So if you have a problem with stress or panicking, or you forget what you were going to say, or you forget the question, don't be afraid to ask them to repeat the question, reset yourself, be calm, and start again. You do not lose points for speaking badly, remember, but you do lose points if you don't speak. Moving on to tip number 10, simple doesn't work. This is especially important if you're taking a higher level exam, but in general, if you think that you can take these exams and get a fantastic score just using simple words, simple grammar, then you're wrong. Using the present simple, the present continuous, the past simple, it might be easy and safe for you. You don't make mistakes with these tenses, but remember, you don't get punished for mistakes. You don't lose points for mistakes. So you're not helping yourself if you stay with the safe, simple things in English. Remember, you get points for trying difficult things. So try difficult things and don't be safe. It's better to try something difficult and get it wrong than to keep everything safe and simple, because you're not going to get a great score like that. Maybe if you keep things very simple with grammar and vocabulary, you won't fail the exam, but you won't get a great score. Now tip number 11. Practicing the actual exams. So I mentioned before several times, using the past papers, old examinations is probably the best way to practice. It's a very important way for you to practice if you want to get a great score. But something very important is about practicing the time. So for example, in the speaking exam, practice speaking for 1 minute. Understand how long 1 minute is. Understand what it feels like to speak in English without stopping for 1 minute. How to connect your ideas and keep yourself talking. And also for the writing, practice writing for half an hour so that you're able to do these things in the exam without a problem. And in a general sense, it's also important to sit down and practice doing a reading, a writing and a listening exam all together. When you do it in the exam, these papers you will do all on the same day. So you will have a short break between each one, 10 minutes maybe, but you will do 3-4 hours of English, all connected in one period of time. So if you're not used to working in English for 3 or 4 hours, this can be a big problem, because your brain will get very tired. You will not be able to perform as well as you could. So learning to be able to do the exam for the amount of time that you need is very important. And the last one, tip number 12, help your brain. Sleep well the night before the exam. Don't drink alcohol the night before the exam. Eat well before the exam and drink water before the exam. This can help your brain think much better. Take a break. Seems a small point, but I think this is important. When you have a short break between the listening, the reading and the writing exam, don't go outside of the exam room and speak English to other people who are taking the exam. Go outside, relax your brain, speak your own language, or don't speak to anyone. You need a break from English in this short period between the exams. Relax your brain, stay away from English with other people so that you can go back and you've had a small break where your brain is fresh and ready to do another exam. So in this video I explain lots of things that can help you to improve your score in any exam, and lots of advice to help you prepare better for the exams. In the next video I will explain how you can use Blue Ocean English to help you with your exam preparation. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck, and I'll see you again next time. Here we are, just another typical English summer day. Just before I go, it's just me doing everything here at Blue Ocean English. So if you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, please don't forget to leave a comment. Maybe you have an idea for a video or a nice background picture that you'd like to see, or share this video with a friend. The best way for you to say thank you is to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and check out my merchandise, all the nice things you can buy, t-shirts, hats. You can also check out our great books on Amazon. There's 3 phrasal verb books, An Ocean of English Phrasal Verbs, each book with 200 examples, a lovely picture and 3 clear examples of how we use each phrase, and then 3 books for idioms. They're called An Ocean of English Idioms. Also 3 books with 600 idioms, 200 in each book, all with a picture and 3 clear examples of how we use each idiom. Thank you very much for watching, and wherever you are, try to feel English today.